So today I want to take a look at a couple of news articles from the CNN news site. Now, one refers to President Trump and the other is President Biden. Now, I think these are really good examples of media bias, that it can actually be done in quite a subtle way while actually reporting facts. So if we look at this first one here, so this is back in June 2020. The headline there is Trump defends a cautious walk down ramp which raised questions about his health. So if we look at the opening paragraph, you can see there's kind of particular words which give a certain impression here. So that Trump made an ardent defence of his unsteady peering descent down the ramp, and that thrust questions about his physical condition back to the fore. And then in a tweet, Trump insisted the slope was very long and steep. So there's kind of phrases there like ardent, thrust questions, and then Trump insisted. And then it goes on to say that there was some issue with the way he was trying to drink from a glass of water, which was raising questions about his physical health as well. And if we look down, it's quite a long article. It goes into a certain amount of detail about the actual event and some previous events. Mention something to do with the video footage, and then it goes on to talk about details of his physical health that had been released. And then it mentions some drug that he'd taken and that he'd made a visit to Walter Reed, which I presume is a hospital. And then it goes on to quote a White House press secretary to say that Trump is healthy, and then goes into some more detail. Now, if we contrast this to the article about President Biden from March 2021, so we can see here it says that the White House says Biden is 100% fine after he tripped boarding Air Force One. So opening paragraph there is quoting the White House. So it's all pretty neutral language, and it contrasts quite sharply with the article about Trump, where it's actually talking about Trump defending what happened. And then it goes into a little bit of detail there about actually what happened. I mean, basically he stumbled going up the steps. And then it's actually quoting somebody there who also was going up the steps and said, yeah, as you know, it's pretty windy outside, it's very windy, I almost fell coming up the steps myself. So it's all very kind of neutral and basically effectively justifying that he tripped because of the conditions. Again, there's some more there that he's doing great, and then it mentions his age just like it does with Trump. It mentions a little bit about his medical history, but we can see that this particular article is quite a lot shorter, and it just really contrasts with the way they covered Trump, which was very much kind of making it look like he was on the defensive, but then they're being somewhat more neutral with Biden. Now, I'm sure nobody is going to be surprised about media outlets being biased, and I think it's pretty well known that CNN has a particular bias towards the Democrats, whereas other outlets like Fox will be biased for the Republicans. But it's worth bearing in mind that just because you read what is seems to be a factual article, when you actually kind of contrast it with others who've done regarding similar situations, they don't always approach it the same way.